Hello and welcome to Flory Models Friday Roundup Show. Here we are with you on September the 11th, 2020. Obviously a day that, or a date I should say, that a lot of us remember for probably all the wrong reasons, and obviously been affected over the years, either directly or indirectly through friends and family and everything that sort of came about after this particular day. Here we are sort of 19 years on. So yes, it's definitely one of those anniversary dates that we sort of, when I read it out every year, it always has sort of tinged with that bit of sadness with it. Anyway, this week has been really good actually. I've got on with absolute tons going through. So really it all started on Monday, where we were on with the actual hurricane. So basically, as you can see on here, this one is a free to watch. So if you're a non-member, you can see what I get up to down in here. So we've got some of the little pictures down in here. I won't bore you with a video of it, but you can see I did a step-by-step tutorial on basically weathering with oils. And how it really works. So obviously we talk about getting rid of the linseed oil to make it dry a little bit quicker, what we're doing with it, so obviously using primary colours on the actual colour to break it up. So in this case we want to lighten the green, so we use yellow to do that, and then obviously by lighting it up, and then we talk about blending it and go through, and then obviously working with the brown. So we go through with that one, and then obviously we do post shading with oils as well, and then buffing it together. And I think this photo down here, you can see the difference between the two. So obviously this wing is done and it's nice and sort of worn and weathered, and this side isn't. Same from on here. This particular side, as you can see, is all nice, worn and weathered. This one isn't, and as I say, a very nice comparison again on this side as well, with this side being finished off, this one being raw. And exactly the same on the underside, so we went through the motions down in there. I knew normally, to be honest, I do airbrush in the sort of cordite gum marks and exhaust and stuff like that, but for this again we used oils, and there again, there she is, all completely finished off. And as we can see with her down in here, this is her all done now. I have to say, it's one of these nice ones, because I reviewed this one not so long ago. I can actually sort of do a follow-up now about this actual kit and how nice it actually is. And again, it's not a perfect kit. There's not many out there that are, but this little guy just has a few little fit issues in really in an area you wouldn't really expect it, for instance. So normally fit issues, when we talk about it, is where wings don't go in, or there's alignment issues, or things just don't go together. This has just got the silliest of little mistakes, and that is where you've actually got like a location pin and a hole for it. The pin or the hole is too small, or the pin's too big, and they just don't go in. And you're only talking microns, obviously in this scale as well, you know, you're just talking tiny little bits. And it's only what I found really was structurally around the cockpit. So when you're putting the cockpit, it's got some framework and floors and various things, they just don't fit. So I ended up just cutting them off and just gluing them in place. There's nothing wrong, it didn't affect the build in any way, shape or form. It's just one of those little annoying things, especially when it's very early in the build, where you suddenly, you know, you go in and you're like, well, why won't it go together? And it's like the first two bits you stick and you're like, what's going on here? So that's really annoying, but actually the kit is beautiful, it's fine, there was no problem with it. And this is probably the first proper 72nd scale kit I've built, in this particular one, in a smaller form, shall we say, something that is only, what are we talking, 14 centimeters long. Okay, and so you've got the little challenges that go with it, not only from a filming point of view of not getting your head in the top of a shot in a lot of cases like I was, but also how you're going to weather it and how you're going to take care of it. So actually what I did with this one was try to break it down in the simplest forms. So with it we used a mask set, which again with through thanks to Top Notch for sending me those, because they're absolutely great. And again, I've always been very wary, shall we say, of masks, because it's that hard edge that masks give you, which is great if you're doing splinter or it is a hard edge camo, but on aircraft it's more of a scale thing as well. You want a slightly defined edge, but you want it to be soft. So it just gives it that thing for weathering and stuff. A hard edge camo is just a little bit too much, but I have to say it worked, and I will eat humble pie, because a lot of times I would say I wouldn't touch a mask set, you know, because of this and this. Actually I probably would now, and purely because of the speed. Normally if this was doing it freehand camo or tack camo, worm camo, things like that, you might be spending a good 2 or 3 hours preparation before you get to paint. I had this thing masked and painted in under 20 minutes. That's how good it was. And we had no problem with it. We had no bleed through. We had no glue residue behind. All those things you normally think, it's going to come back, it's going to bite me. I didn't have any of it whatsoever. So I would highly, highly recommend. Obviously, it's the only ones that I've ever used. Top notch. Great company, do a fantastic set of masks in there. And thanks to them, because I say they did send them to me. It was a freebie and all the rest of it. And I just really was thinking, I'm not sure, I think I'll do it my way. But actually now I've done it, I'm thinking if I was to do 72nd scale again, then I'd be there. And even in 48 scale, I'm thinking, do you know what, I'll probably give it a go. Getting in the larger scales, like I explained in the video, I probably wouldn't. I prefer doing it by hand and having that soft edge control and being able to sort of blend colours together and stuff like that. Well, obviously you can't do that with a mask set, but generally very, very nice. And then obviously the build, beautiful, no problem at all, apart from what we spoke about in there. And then the weathering, as you've just seen there, I've done a real step-by-step. What I'm also going to do over the weekend, I've got a little bit of time, so what I'm going to end up doing is actually re-editing the final part into a bite size, just to explain about doing the oils, because a lot of you have mentioned to me that it's great because it is literally simple A, B and C right the way through to achieving that type of effect. And what great achievements that you guys have had as well, following along with those steps. So I will get that sorted. It will be free to view and all the rest of it, so you can catch that one on the main site to make our way through. But if you haven't seen it, it's only a little 6-part video, but if you are returning to the hobby or new to the hobby or anything else, this is going to be one of those ones which it just shows you with nothing fancy whatsoever, you can actually achieve something really, really nice with a few little cheats right the way through. So like mask sets and various things like that, it just works in there. So yeah, very, very happy with that one. As I say, really sad it's finished. I am going to come back. I am going to do some small stuff again. I've got a little bit of a bug for it now doing that one. So if you are into your 72nd scale, keep watching, because again, I am going to be returning and doing a few other smaller 72nd scale kits in the very near future. Over on Tuesday, it was the Q&A day. So again, on here, when we were sort of making our way through, going through it, it's answering obviously all of your questions. One of the questions came up was talking about respirators and various things like that. And to be honest, mine were due out for a clean and stuff. So we explained all about this one on here, plus the fact we had all of your great questions right the way through on that one. So in here, I basically show you about my filter system, and obviously I dismantle all my system and we put new filters in it and all the bits and pieces along with that one. So again, if you want to catch up with that one, that was on the Tuesday show, along with lots of other of your great questions. Remember, if you've got any questions and you want to send them over to me, then obviously just hit me up in the PM section, or if you're a non-member even and you've got a question you want to ask me, just do it via the contact me page on the Flory Model site, and I'll answer as many of your questions as I can. But as you can see, it did need a change of filters. So the main ones were just about dead anyway, and then obviously the cleaner ones on the outside, the little dust particle filters, they needed cleaning. So again, that was all about in that show. On to Wednesday, that was me and Matt's show. And again, we were talking all things twice. Story to this, we ended up having to shoot this video twice because we had a bit of a malfunction, probably my part, not pressing record. But anyway, so we did have to do it again, and we were talking about, obviously, following on from last week, about some great brands of kits that are out there and don't break the bank. Obviously, we were talking about some of the stuff I've been working on recently, as in doing the Hellcat, which we'll mention in a moment. We were talking about the Tempest down there, and we were saying about how Edar's weekend range of kits, how nice they are, because again, if you don't want to have 10 different decal options and a load of perhaps resin and photo etch you don't see, then how the weekend editions, they're a really nice price. They're not going to break the bank, and you get some fantastic detail with them and all the rest of it. So again, it's one of those ones where if you want to see everything on there, obviously we're discussing how certain kits haven't turned up, ones that have turned up, talking about all the pre-orders and everything with the Flory Models membership as well. That's all in that particular show as always. Remember, you can join me and Matt obviously on Wednesdays, and really we're just talking about this week's kit reviews, this week's releases, what's been re-released and everything. So it's not so much a modelling show as in building, it's more about talking about the kit. So if you're into that side of it, that's definitely the show for you. On last night, obviously live show, me and the boys. shouting about, causing chaos as always. So I say it was myself, John and Matt on last night, looking at your great work as ever, because again, you know, you guys do some amazing work and we love to showcase it here on the live shows. And then obviously, as you can see, we have a little bit of a giggle, a little bit of a laugh, and then obviously answering the rest of your questions that perhaps you've thrown out to the wider team and not just the ones that I do on Tuesday. So again, it's around about an hour and 40 minutes last night of all the live stuff that were going on. Again, if you want to watch us live, you can do it. Streams live off of the Flory Models site and off of our Facebook page as well if you want to have a look down in there and catch us live, or if not, the recordings and all the shows we've done before are available to watch at any time on the actual Flory Models site. And that brings us up to today, and in here we've been starting on the Hellcat, as you can see. So we've started on this. Part 1 is up on the site right now and is available to watch, and you can see it literally just down here, and here she is. And again, this is what we were talking about. It's great to go back sometimes to the basics. All too often I get these huge big projects that take forever and you get bogged down in them, and perhaps a lot of you don't see you know, any sort of value into what I'm building, so I might be building things you'll never do. So it's nice to go back to basics, and this is what we're talking about with this particular kit. This is the weekend edition. It's a bargain price. It's like under 20 quid. I think it seems about 17 quid, and it is a good old lump. You can see this thing isn't a slouch. It's a really nice detailed stuff. So after I did the review of this the other day, I can fully report, because now we're into the construction phase is finished, it is flawless. It is beautiful in every form. I was a little bit concerned about how the wings join, and I was worried about the geometry, but as you can see, it fits and it is perfect. So they are in there just like that. We're really looking forward about doing the paintwork on this one, and this is what it's going to be all about, because as I said before, I get loads and loads of questions about this dark blue, colour for the sea colour on this. How do you weather it? So like I said before, your options are you either go darker, okay, and then obviously so have dark panel lines in it, or a lot of people go lighter, so by using grey washes and things like that. This I'm going to do a little bit of both with it, but we're going to showcase about doing some of the more trickier colours, shall we say, so like spraying white, because obviously we've got the white underside on this one, and then obviously the blues on the top, so we've got that medium blue going through, and then obviously we've got the dark blue, and how your approach for weathering them and doing them and things like that is going to be affected by those particular shades and hues of colour and stuff like that. So again, that's where this one's going to be all about. The other thing as well, and if you can see it just down in here, if not I'll stick up some stilts, but you can see also I've showed a couple of tips and tricks, and again I'm going to turn this into a little bite-sized video about how to take decals which are traditionally very two-dimensional. When you just put them on, they're just flat to the seats, and how you can actually put them onto things like a little bit of lead foil and just basically decal them onto here, cut them out, and then use them through that, and how it gives you that really nice movement with it, because again this has got a little bit of, you know, a little bit of creasing and folding to it, and how it gives that nice three-dimensional look to what are decals, okay, and that's the great thing about them. So you don't have to run out and buy aftermarket decals and stuff like that. You can use a couple of little tips and tricks like this to really add depth to your model. So hopefully you can see it just down in there. It's really very, very nice because they're in there, and it gives it something to see obviously down in there. And the cockpit as well, we spoke about doing the instrument panel and sort of livening that up, because quite frankly that's a little bit sort of boring on its own, but by spending a little bit of time just playing with it, adding a little bit of detail in there, it's perfectly adequate for what we need, because by the time the glass work's on here you're not going to see much down in there anyway. But I have to say, after reviewing it, a lot of people say about, you know, you reviewed it but you haven't built it, so how do you know? I do know, because I built it, and it is a fantastic kit, and for the price I think it's absolutely amazing. Very, very worthwhile. Go out and get them. Obviously they do that one in Profi Pack form and stuff like that, but again it's very, very nice. But anyway, part 1 is up with you now, and then obviously on Monday part 2 will be up with you, because I've already done that as well, and that will move forward, so forth and so on. That bite size for the actual seatbelt ones will probably be up early part of next week, and again I'll put it in the bite size section, and you can go off and you can see all about that one. So really that was this week. Other things going on though. So over in the forum, we've got some pre-orders going on at the moment with PM Models. Okay, so down in here, if you want to get involved with those members, you can. So don't forget, we've got the pre-order currently running at the moment for the Herc, for the new Zvezda 72nd scale Herc. We've got the 72nd scale Beaufort coming along as well. The Great Wall Hobby's obviously got multiple things going on in here as well with those. So pop your name down if you want to get those. Remember, they all are at a discounted price whilst they are on pre-order, and then obviously they'll go up to normal price once that is ended. We've also got the big 32nd scale Tornado. We should have some more news about that next week. Fingers crossed. So we've got various things coming on with that one. The Gloucester Javelins, they're back in as well, so they're in and around. And again, some of the other stuff. So we've got the Blackburn Buccaneers down in there on the pre-order for the new one, so forth and so on down in here. So you can go right the way through. Okay, so if you want to find any about those, they are down in there. Group builds and things going on at the moment. Obviously, we've only got the 2 that are currently running, which are going to see us through to the end of the year. So if we just zip down in here, here we go. So we've got the action movie group build that's going on at the moment. So we've got some great work going down in there. So we've got 152 entries, loads of entries. Should we have a look at one? Let me grab one to have a look. Just have a look in here. Oh, look, saw this last night, so it's a bit off. But this is our very own Nathan, who's done the beautiful little Red Baron. Fantastic. So great job on there. Let me just find another one. There we go. We've got down in here the old Airfix B-Wing classic. And obviously now we've seen another version by Bandai in 72nd. Be nice to see it in 48th, but then it would be quite big. But you can see very nicely done in there as well. So congratulations. Classic old kit that is. One more. Let's have a look. Star Trek First Contact. We've got down in here by Ram. Fantastic job. Very nice. Great base with that one as well. Beautiful work, and using the background, as you can see. Very, very nice indeed. So well done to everybody who's taking part in those. Again, that's going to run now right the way through until the end of the year. So basically, you've got the end of the year now on both of these as they're making way through. Shelf of Doom, which is the one that just started the other day. So that one is gone. We've got 24 entries down in there. We've got some great work going on in here. As you can see, lots of stuff. And again, the whole point of that one is really to finish off this year. Let's get this year out of the way. Finish off all those models that have been shelf queens, gathering dust, possibly going to be a buster at this rate, and all the rest of it. You can finish those off and get them out of the way as we make our way through. And that was this week. As I said, great week. Hopefully next week we've got some great stuff coming along as well. Don't forget, on the 27th of September, which is Sunday night, we're going to be having a live auction as well. So you know we do our live auctions and all the rest of it. So if you're interested in that, then obviously let us know and we can get going. Full listings of that will appear in about a week or two as we make our way through with that one. But again, we confirm that date. So it'll be Sunday the 27th. Get your drinks out and all the rest of it, and we'll have a bit of a giggle and buy some kits and sell some kits and stuff like that as well. So that'll be coming along as well. And that is about it. So as always, on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work. Don't forget, you can see parts 1 and then obviously part 2 will be up with you on Monday, obviously now and on Monday for the actual Hellcat. Beautiful kit coming along. I'll get those bite-sized done as well, okay? So until Tuesday when I catch you next, happy modelling, take care, and here's your great work from the gallery.
My heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing and keep your words naked. You got me blushing, and you forever I'll follow. You'll be my holy ground. You forever I'll follow. fade